intelligent monitoring,
Industry 4.0,
automation solutions,
smart manufacturing, intelligent data analysis,
big data,
the Smart Factory, Data Broker.
Factory host systems.
The Smart Manufacturing Studio is a recording about innovation in factory automation software for smart manufacturing and Industry 4.0. We'll cover a variety of topics related to smart manufacturing and automation software for the Smart Factory.
Hello and welcome to our first episode of the Smart Manufacturing Studio. I'm your host, Heidi Marr, Manager of Marketing Services and Corporate Communications at Peer Group. Smart Manufacturing Studio is a new distribution mechanism for us, and we're in the experimentation phase, trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. We know your time's valuable, so we'll keep each episode short and focused, but please send any feedback you have to marketing@peergroup.com. Our first guest focuses on big data and remote connectivity solutions that help automated factories and equipment suppliers collaborate securely in production environments. I'm really excited to welcome Peer Group's product evangelist, Doug Zurek. Welcome, Doug.
Thank you, Heidi. Pleasure to be here.
Thanks. All right, so let's get right into it. Doug's been on the road lately. You've been doing a number of presentations at Semicon trade shows and other conferences, and you start these presentations by saying, we're moving into a smart manufacturing world. What exactly do you mean by that?
The key thing that we're hearing from our customers and from their customers is trying to figure out a way to deal with the increased amount of connectivity in the world, different tools talking to each other, as well as different parts of the supply chain talking to each other. So that's the first piece. Second piece is ever-increasing amounts of data. So how can they deal with all the data that these connections are creating? Those two pieces combined are really at the core of smart manufacturing.
So that begs a good question. Where should companies start?
Really, the easiest place to start and the most important place to start is to decide how you're going to use and contextualize your data.
What are their options?
The key message I've been trying to get across when I'm talking at the shows is, as important as a recipe manager or control software is to your tool or your process or your plant, equally important is a process or a dedicated component dealing with data. So we call that the data broker, having a specific component at your plant or on your tool who's dedicated to worrying about all these data concerns.
And is there anything that we can recommend to a factory that's trying to get smart manufacturing ready?
Again, the key message there is to make sure that you're thinking about how you're going to gather your data. So if you look at all the different protocols that are available for ways you can pull data from your tools, from your sensors, either the dumb ones you have right now or the smart ones you'll get in the future, and put together a component that can speak all those protocols, buffer the data, then translate the data and send it onward to any consumers, again, using any of the many different protocols they might want. This goes back to where we recommend that you install a data broker.
So what is the biggest benefit then to a factory that's trying to get smart manufacturing ready, a factory that wants to install a data broker?
Once you start collecting this data, it's going to give you the opportunity to have the information, put it in front of your experts so they can solve any problems you're having, or more importantly, look for opportunities to improve the way that you're producing your product without necessarily having to invest a lot of money in new automation, or perhaps just targeting where you're going to make those automation investments.
Awesome. So does the data broker then get installed on every piece of equipment from a factory perspective, or is it more from an equipment maker's perspective?
Both and none. So it depends very much on your particular scenario. From a factory perspective, it can be very effective to install a single data broker centrally that will talk to all the different pieces of equipment. But similarly, for a OEM, you can install a data broker just on your machine to provide benefits as well as protect your IP on your particular piece of equipment.
So it sounds to me like this is an excellent way of getting smart manufacturing ready from within the factory. Can you tell me a little bit about remote connectivity and how that might play in from an equipment maker's perspective, how that also offers them another ability to help with this whole smart manufacturing problem?
Absolutely. As the complexity rises in manufacturing processes, and all these connections all the way up and down the supply chain, it's becoming more and more important to be able to gain remote access so that external experts can come in and try and solve these problems, as well as gain access to the cloud computing resources you need to perform these large-scale analytics using modern software. Remote access via a data broker allows you to securely transfer that data or transfer experts towards where the data is so they can solve these problems.
Excellent. And in good news, Peer Group offers these products.
That's right. We have a data broker, our Equipment Information Bridge, or EIB, and we also have a secure remote connectivity solution called Ramicus. You can learn more about all of our products at peergroup.com.
Great. Thanks, Doug. This has been really informative.
You're welcome. Hope we do this again soon.
Me too.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Smart Manufacturing Studio. If you have ideas for future content, please contact marketing@peergroup.com. If you'd like more details about anything we discussed today, please contact sales@peergroup.com. Thanks for listening.